Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us this evening as we talk about studying architectural design and our new Bachelor of Design at UQ. Now, we know choosing a degree can be difficult. We've been there and we know it's a big decision. But don't worry, after this presentation, you'll feel empowered to make the transition between school and university like a pro. Tonight, you'll hear from two current students, me, Lucinda, and Paris.
Hello.
And my current architecture students at UQ. Throughout this session, we will share our unique experiences of studying at UQ to prepare you for day one and beyond. Tonight, we also have the pleasure of being joined by Professor Cameron Brun, Dean and Head of the School of Architecture, who will give you an overview of the Bachelor of Architectural Design and our new Bachelor of Design at UQ. So, whether you see yourself working in an architectural firm or as the next Elon Musk, settle in, grab a snack, because you're in the right place. So just a bit of housekeeping before we begin. To avoid bandwidth issues and for privacy, your video and microphone will be turned off throughout the whole presentation. However, that doesn't mean that we don't want to hear from you. Please, please, please get involved. We encourage you and your family to ask questions down below using the Q&A function. Our staff will respond via the Q&A function either live or at the end of the presentation. If you have any technical issues, can't see the screen or can't hear us, please type using the chat function and our team will get back to you as soon as possible. This session will also be recorded. So, my name is Lucinda and I study a Bachelor of Architectural Design at UQ. So 3 fun facts about me. My favourite subjects in school were English and modern history. I decided to study architecture at UQ because I'm really interested in the world around me and truly believe that I can make this world a better place through the built environment and that it heavily impacts people's quality of life. I love to bake, I love a good nap, and I love getting dressed up and going out to dinner with my friends. So, on the left, we just have a quick screenshot of some of the projects I've done throughout my degree at UQ. The one in the middle is one of my most recent design projects. It was for an Indigenous health centre out at Dacabin. This is actually a really cool project because we got to go on site and we got to talk to the clients from IUE and find out what they wanted for the design and really research more into Indigenous health needs. So I really enjoyed that project. And then on the right, it's just a quick screenshot of my university timetable for this semester. It changes every semester, but generally for architecture, it's about 3 days of the week that you're on campus. Just because it's 3 days doesn't mean that I'm not busy. I also have a part-time job, and if I'm not at work, then I'm generally studying on campus or out with my friends. And speaking of having a social life, we just have some pictures of the ball. The Bruce Architecture Ball is a highlight in the architecture calendar. It's a really fun night. We all get dressed up and go out. Last year's theme was Sacred Geometries from the Met Gala. And I was actually on the ball committee and spent 2 straight weeks making that photo backdrop, folding the paper, spray painting it gold. But yeah, we're a super close-knit community, so it's fun to all come together and celebrate the year.
Hi, my name is Paris and I'm studying architectural design. So 3 things about me. My favourite subjects in school were music and physics. I chose architecture because I love how it blends problem solving and design skills together. Outside the studio, I love doing yoga. I actually go to the UQ gym, which has great facilities and classes. I also enjoy playing the piano and spending time with friends. So on the right, you can see my timetable. It looks a lot like Lucinda's. I have class on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Even though it looks like I have a lot of spare time, I use my off days to study and I have a part-time job. And on the left, you can see a work I did in first year. We went to a site at Nudgee and had to draw and document a building. So you do need to hand draw, and not everything is on your computer. And the next project you can see is also from first year. We were given a brief to build a house for a collector. I'll now hand you over to Professor Cameron Brune, who will deep dive into the degrees, tell you about possible pathways into these degrees and these exciting careers opportunities available.
Thanks, Paris, and thanks, Lucinda. So my name is Cameron Brune. I'm the head of school and Dean of Architecture here at UQ. So like Paris and Lucinda, I'll tell you 3 things about me. So many years ago, my favourite subjects at high school were art and ancient history. I love architecture and design because they really can make the world a better place and can enrich people's lives. So outside of my days at work, I love spending time in my garden and getting out and about and bushwalking. So in addition to my activities looking after teaching and research here at the school, I'm also involved in a range of other projects, particularly in publications around architecture and design. So this month with publishing house Thames and Hudson, my book called MMXX, which of course translates to 2020, will come out. The book's subtitled 2 Decades of Architecture in Australia. And this book documents the last 20 years of architectural works in Australia and the ideas that have shaped them and the communities that they serve. Beyond the local scene, I'm also really interested in the role that architecture plays in the global context and around the increasing internationalisation of architectural practice. So many of our graduates, whether they decide to stay here and work in Brisbane or travel and live and work internationally, many of them, regardless of where they live, will have an international outlook on architectural practice. And in this exhibition that I've been working on with the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, I've been looking at the relationship between Australia and China and the shared opportunities and challenges that architecture reveals across the 2 countries. So, one of the decisions that you're going to be making over the next few weeks is what to study at university. And some of you will be interested in being a designer, in charting a career as a designer or an architect. So at the School of Architecture here at University of Queensland, we offer 2 undergraduate programs in this area. The Bachelor of Architectural Design, which you've already heard a little bit about. And in 2021, we're going to be launching a brand new degree, which is called the Bachelor of Design. So how would you decide which one might be right for you? Here's how I think about it. If you're a little bit like me and you wanted to be an architect from when you were 7 or 8 years old, you're obsessed with making things with Lego, of taking them apart and putting them back together, building cubby houses in the backyard or making other structures around your house, then the Bachelor of Architectural Design is probably the right way for you to go. If you're slightly more inquiring about what you might do, or unsure about what you might want to be, or where you might want to start your career, you know you're interested in design, you're interested in communication design, industrial design, jewellery design, environmental design, or you're interested in the way design ideas can be used in business or in other organisations, or interested in design management, then studying the Bachelor of Design might be the right place for you to start as a way of choosing your own adventure and defining your own pathway within the various fields that design covers. So, who are designers? What sort of characteristics might we use to describe them? Well, they're definitely innovators. They're people who are interested in the way change comes about and advocate for its value. They're curious people and they challenge the status quo on a range of levels. Designers are definitely client-focused. They're about delivering real value. In many respects, designers have the most universal and practical skill set. They've got skill sets that enable them to solve a range of different problems. Designers are definitely creative thinkers and really think outside the box. Most designers are also highly visual people, and you'll see that in the way in which the students dress around the school and the image of what we think an architect looks like with the black t-shirt and groovy glasses. But more and more, architects and designers are people who are dedicated to improving the state of the world and of making people's lives better every day through the built environment. So, I'll first of all talk a little bit more about the Bachelor of Architectural Design. And I'm going to use a quote from one of our grads, Matthew Walton, who works at Rothy Logics here in Brisbane. Matthew writes, "If you often find yourself noticing your surroundings and how a space makes you feel, then architecture might be right for you. If you're passionate about design and shaping our world for the better, then go for it." So I hope that resonates with some of you. A little bit about the Bachelor of Architectural Design. It's an undergraduate, full-time 3-year program. The prerequisites are Year 12 or equivalent, including English, and the entry requirements in 2021 are predicted to be an OP5. Lucinda's going to take us through a little bit more about what it's like here in the school and the sorts of activities you might engage with in your undergraduate program.
So, what's it really like to study architecture at UQ? Well, you'll receive practical learning from industry leaders. Here we have Sam and Mark from the workshop, who are there to help you with any structural problems you might have. There are hands-on design studios led by practicing architects, and it's a collaborative culture. The lecturers and tutors are truly there to help you with any questions that you might have, not only about your assignments, but also about practice in real life.
Lucinda, that's a great description and really does highlight some of the most exciting aspects of studying architecture or design here at the University of Queensland. Lucinda and Paris have also talked a little bit about the cohort experience, about the friends that you'll make while studying here. And we organise a range of activities that bring the students together. Earlier this year, the student group had a fantastic day out visiting St. Helena Island in Moreton Bay, which is an opportunity to experience space, landscape, and to look at different types of architecture over a long period of time. Here's a bit of footage to show you what it was like out on the bay. The kangaroos on St. Helena Island were a real highlight for many students on that trip. One of the really big moments on our calendar of the year is the annual exhibition. So at the exhibition at the end of the year, it's an opportunity to show off your work, to show the work that you've completed in the design studios over the year, to your family, to your friends, and to practitioners from around the city and the state. An opportunity to connect and seek out job opportunities. And it's a really great showcase and a celebration, particularly of the work of the students who will be graduating each year from both the Bachelor and the Master's program. Paris, I'm going to hand over you to tell us a little bit more about who should study architectural design, in your opinion.
So who should study architectural design? People who love to make things, either physically or through sketch. People who think outside the box and are creative. people who love to travel and are interested in the world around them and how it works. You really don't look at places the same way once you study this degree. There's always an exciting aspect when you go to another city or country and actually understand culture through buildings.
I agree, you definitely don't look at places the same way. I was at a shopping centre last week in the bathroom and they put the hand dryer right next to the door, and I almost got knocked out trying to dry my hands the other day. It was not a very good design, so you definitely pick up on little things like that. But we can only speak of the Bachelor of Architectural Design, but something I wish someone had told me when I was a high school student was that if you didn't get the opportunity to study graphics or architecture in school, or even any computer design program, I highly recommend in those holidays between grade 12 and the beginning of university that you do a Photoshop course or a Revit course and really practice those IT communication skills, because they will help you when it comes time to your assignment. But not only should you practice those computer skills, definitely practice your hand drawing skills and even do an art class, because hand drawing is the main way that architects communicate, and there's a real connection between your eye and your hand and getting ideas down on paper quickly. So definitely try and do that in between grade 12 and university. Being passionate really helps as you're studying in this area in great detail. Read as much as you can, watch grand designs if you can, really submerge yourself in this degree just so you know as much about it as you can and are prepared. But I think that's all we have for the Bachelor of Architecture. I'll now hand back to Cameron to tell you more about the new Bachelor of Design at UQ.
Thanks, Lucinda. I also want to emphasise the idea of hand drawing and getting out and about. So maybe between finishing your studies this year and studying next year at UQ, maybe grab a sketchbook, start sketching some things in your world and your environment, and really starting to think about how those things are made. So many aspects of our built environment are designed, and by observing them and sketching them, you can really start to get a sense of the way they come together. Great ideas, Lucinda, thank you. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Bachelor of Design program, which is, as we've mentioned, is a new offering here at UQ for 2021. This is really a new take on design, about creatively solving problems from start to finish. And where our focus here is on teaching future leaders, of teaching them fundamental creative tools to generate and design ideas for a better, more sustainable world. And our emphasis here is really on giving you a flexible range of skills to explore different options over the course of your career, from communication and industrial design to spatial and human-centered design. So you're going to be able to develop expertise in the area of design that interests you most. It's for anyone interested in creativity and the role that design plays in shaping communities, organisations, businesses, and the lives of individuals. These capabilities you'll develop in the Bachelor of Design include problem identification, communication, critical thinking, design for purpose, design thinking. And you'll be taking with you a universal skill set based in design, which will set you up for the future. So in this program, you really have the opportunity to create your own pathway within the fields of design. Here's a bit more information. With the Bachelor of Design, UQ is reimagining creativity and reimagining the way design might be used in both education, but also in terms of student employability.
So the question we need to ask is, where do you want to start your career? It's no longer a conversation around a long-term plan. It's a conversation around a broad and diverse experience as a really wonderful starting point.
The Bachelor of Design is a program for inquiring individuals, someone who's really interested in charting their own journey in their career and creating a resilient trajectory with design in the foreground.
Essentially, everything that humans are involved with is designed.
Look at the urban world we live in. Someone has designed it and made a series of decisions about it. It's exciting to think that you can have an impact on it.
The new Bachelor of Design at the University of Queensland is a new undergraduate program for anyone interested in creativity and the role that design plays in shaping communities, organisations and businesses.
Design for me is about nurturing my creative abilities. It's a way of thinking and it's a way of working that you can apply to almost anything.
Design can help us solve some of the challenges that humanity is facing today.
In thinking about how design can make the world better, there's a huge moral and social responsibility that comes with being a designer and thinking about the impacts of what we're creating and producing.
With the very far-reaching implications of our current condition, I'm absolutely convinced that design thinking can save the world.
At UQ, we see designers bring together creative problem solving across multiple disciplines. It's not just about designing objects, spaces, or processes, but also bringing it into a complex systems and networks.
Within the program, you use design as a basis for problem solving. You'll study in the humanities, in business, in engineering, and in information environments, to enable you to understand and address complex issues and problems.
As an employer, we are genuinely excited about this degree and the graduates that will contribute to our practice in the future.
Technical skills are really important, but when you think about a world that is rapidly changing and where you're dealing with really complex problems, we need more than that.
The core part of the Bachelor of Design at UQ is built around the design studio, and in these interactive hands-on sessions you'll unpack the way design works across sectors, across modes, across scales, and really understand the way in which design works.
Designers not only have to explain what or how things are done, but also why we do something.
So it's really that anthropological exploration of meaning and then bringing in technology to innovate that meaning, to really elevate the value that it has.
Although the technology used in the design fields may constantly be updated, the fundamentals of good design stay the same. Design will determine what the future looks like for all of us.
So I think that if you're intending to have an impact on the way the world operates one way or another, this is a skill that you have to have.
We have to adapt, we have to pivot, and a degree in design is going to give you the capabilities to do that.
So as you'll see, we're pretty excited about this new program. And as you can see, design is a bigger word than just drawing or making stylish, shiny things like sunglasses or chairs. It's about creative solutions, creative thinking that can apply to all sorts of businesses, industries, communities or settings. It makes a better world because it's about problem solving. I think in this respect, it reflects our dreams and aspirations for society, so it can build towards a better social, environmental and aesthetic awareness. Design, whether it's used in architecture, landscape architecture or urban design, always aims to make our lives better. And hopefully in doing so, it delights and raises our spirits. So it's got to do more than, as Lucinda points out, making sure the hairdryer is not in the wrong place in the wall of a bathroom, which is kind of the antithesis of bad design. But good design's got to do a lot more. It's got to make us excited and happy and really help us understand the world in which we live in. So this is really the passion that all of us bring to the teaching of design and architecture here at UQ. So within the Bachelor of Design, there's a range of different majors that you can explore. And as I said, this can take you into the area of business, to entrepreneurship and innovation, through to areas like information environments, where you'll learn more about user experience design and the kind of IT side of design. This program draws on expertise from across UQ. So you'll be taught by the best teachers and researchers across all these different fields. and get to understand how design interacts with all these different types of activities. So one of our most famous alum from the School of Architecture here at UQ is Deborah Riley, who was head of the art department for the Game of Thrones. So she uses design in a very particular and exciting way of creating environments for television, where her studies in design here at UQ are actually the foundation for the way she thinks about creating these environments. Jacqueline Knight's the founder and director of Frank Innovation. So she specialises in open innovation and the participatory design and communication process. So this is the way in which design is used to bring people together and to solve complex problems where you do need expertise from lots of different fields. And design is the glue that brings all that information together. And she uses her work as a designer to collaborate and co-create within a range of different settings. Robert's a PhD candidate here at the University of Queensland. He's known for upcycling waste to create functional products for city dwellers. He's a teacher and researcher, and his background is in design, but also in development practice, where he looks to engage with people across a range of different fields, environments, and contexts in order to create a broader perspective and specific toolkit of skills for designers. And a really great example of the way in which design can reach a broad cross-section of communities across the world. So the projected entry requirements for the design in 2021 will be an OP8 with similar English requirements to the Bachelor of Architectural Design. One of the really exciting prospects around the Bachelor of Design is a dual degree offering with the Bachelor of Engineering Honours. So this is a really exciting combination of design and engineering that will really create a resilient career within a specialist field of engineering with the specialist approaches of design brought to bear on those challenges. So I guess you're wondering, do I have what it takes? Could I be a designer? Well, if you enjoy problem solving and being creative, if you love sketching, if you love thinking about the built environment and looking at and experiencing different environments, then it's definitely the path for you. If you want to make the world a better place and you're committed to making people's lives easier, if you have that social agenda, then architectural design is for you. If you want a career that could take you anywhere, that you could work in Brisbane, Shanghai, Seattle, or London, and find ways to use your training here at UQ, then this is the place to start. So that's it for us. And now it's time for questions. Kristen's on the line to answer your questions, so it's over to her.
Hi everyone, if you've got any questions for us, please put them in the Q&A and they'll either be answered by Cameron or we'll type a response through to you.
Hi guys, Paris and I are also here to answer any student questions you might have.
Okay, so hi Cameron, this is Angela. We had a student in a chat box and this instead of me tagging, I thought I'll just respond to questions here. How long is the course for Bachelor of Architecture and Design? Is a 3 years course, and the student from Malaysia, yes, we do accept a UEC high school certificate. For the Bachelor of Design is, I believe, is also 3 years, and the fees on this course I will for as international students that I will. Sorry, my dog is barking. I will send you the I will tap the link because the fees can be is increased a little bit every year. So I will. It depends on which year you will be you're graduating from high school. So I'll type on the chat box.
Great, thanks, Angela. So it doesn't look like there are any other questions, but of course, if you want to talk to us at any point, get in contact. I also just want to say a big thank you to Lucinda and Paris for sharing their insights tonight. It's great to hear about their experiences and their thoughts about what it would take to be an architect or designer, and how studying here at UQ will shape your career in the future. Angela, there's a couple of other questions for international students, so we might let you follow up on those following this session.
Okay, no problem. Sorry, I'm just a little busy typing up. I will put my email address here in the chat box, just in case if any student want to reach me. Here is my contact details, and because a student coming from different countries have different high school certificate, I think it's better for me to answer that question individually.
Great, excellent. Thanks, Angela.
Cameron, I do have one question for you I think you might like to answer from Lexi. She is looking at studying design and architecture and is wanting to know how our courses stack up against other courses at different universities.
Okay, great. That's a great question, Lexi. I think there's two really big things that distinguish studying here at the University of Queensland to studying at others. The first one is the facilities available on site in terms of making, experimenting, building, creating, modelling, etc. So the School of Architecture is located within a faculty of engineering, architecture and IT. And we've got absolutely fantastic facilities for all of those activities, from 3D printing to creating structures using folding bamboo. The second one is that all of our teachers are also researchers. So that means that each year our curriculum is being constantly updated and refined to ensure that what you're being taught reflects the current level, the current directions in research and practice in architecture and design. And that's a really significant factor, a really important part of ensuring that the curriculum that you're taught, that what you're studying in the classroom will set you up for the future. With regard to the Bachelor of Design, there's also the added benefit of being taught by the best thinkers from business and from anthropology, who'll bring their perspectives to your studies.
Cameron, I've got another question for you. How popular do you think this course will be, considering it's so new?
So we've already had really great feedback from future students and from industry. So we think it's going to be a really popular program. We also think that for many people who are thinking about studying engineering, but are also looking for a way to pursue their creative side in a way that will allow them to have be a different type of engineer, that will be a really popular with that group.
And I've got another question for you from Nazua. What is the ratio of hands-on and lecture approaches for the lessons?
So the real emphasis is on the studio, and that's a hands-on activity about being in a studio space here on the campus at UQ, where you'll work with your teachers and your tutors, but also with your peers. So there's a real emphasis in those courses of learning from each other and supporting each other through the program. So that is the most significant component of the course, and a bigger component than the lectures.
And what are the class sizes usually?
So in design, we don't know, of course, yet, because it will be our first year next year. But we anticipate the first year in the Bachelor of Architectural Design in 2021 to be around 90 students in total. So it is a boutique program compared to many others.
I might just pop in and say we are a really close-knit cohort. You genuinely do know everyone in your class, and you can always go to them and ask questions. So we really are a tight-knit community compared to a business degree where there's thousands of kids and you feel like you don't know anyone. So that's quite nice about this degree.
Cameron, we've got another question about exchange experiences for design and architecture.
So many of our students pursue those across the course of their undergraduate or master's program. Probably not so likely in 2021. We've also been had the opportunity to take students on group trips to Hong Kong or Singapore, and we think that's a really important aspect of studying architecture, to be able to get out and about, to get out of Brisbane and go and see another world and experience other cultures. So we really encourage students to take those opportunities during their studies at either an undergraduate or at the master level.
And the next question is about how we expect the program to compare to studying design in Year 12 at high school.
So I think moving from school to university, you're going to be moving from, I guess, from skills and designing in a way that looks at an individual project, to going much broader and to think about the way in which design might work across a range of different problems and how it might work across settings.
I don't think we've got any other questions right at the moment.
Thanks, Kristen. Lucinda and Paris, did you have anything else you'd like to say to wrap us up?
Oh, wait, I do have another question. So with the pandemic currently going on, how are we expecting classes to be delivered next year?
So obviously we continue to monitor the situation in terms of the health guidelines of the state and of the country. The plan is next year for many of the classes to be on campus, so with some lectures still delivered online. The Bachelor of Design will be entirely on campus, but with the Bachelor of Architectural Design, some activities will be delivered on Zoom in various different parts of the program.
Okay, I've got another question for you. If you choose to study a Bachelor of Design, is it possible to study a dual major?
That's absolutely. So you could study a Bachelor of Design with a major in information and environments and entrepreneurship and innovation. And so there's really a great opportunity to tailor those majors to suit how you'd like to construct your own program. Okay, thanks, Kristen, and thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this evening. I hope you found it informative. Lucinda and Paris, thank you so much for your contribution and for telling everyone a little bit more about what it will be like in their first year of study here at University of Queensland. And please do be in touch with any of the team if you do have any further questions about studying next year. Thanks again for joining us tonight.